What is good, my paranormal soldiers? Hey, Susan.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on with you, girl? Nothing much here.
Nothing much with me. No.
What are you drinking tonight?
So honestly, it's just cranberry juice.
Oh, that's it? You don't
Yeah,
make special
yeah.
drinks for my show?
Well,
Your
no,
show?
no, no, no. You know what? It's a Sunday night, and I just wanted something red. So
Oh,
here we go.
got you. Got you. Hello, Mama Llama. Hello, Michael. Hello, Candy. Welcome in, Candy. Thank you for being here because last week last week I wasn't on, and I want to say thank you to Susan for taking over the show for me. I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. And to Karen, I'm sorry I missed the podcast last week. I was watching though, ladies, but I'm glad
Mhm.
Candy's in because we had some Hair Force One being pretty nasty last week. So that person is hidden from the channel, so we shouldn't have that problem tonight. But I'm glad Candy's here so she can help Carl, our producer, in the background. Hey, Michael, how are you? So, other than that, Susan, what have you been up to?
Nothing much. Just staying busy. What about yourself?
Well, working on that video I put out today, and I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing it for like 2 days. I had it so done last night. I was going to post it at midnight, and then I deleted it by accident. I'm really not savvy sometimes with the technology. But other than that, redid it today, got it out, and just been chilling, talking to people today on the internet. And
Yeah.
so I just want to say hello to some special people. Hello, Critical Sam. Hello to the Conjuring Kid. If you guys aren't following the Conjuring Kid, go follow him on Instagram. This is a kid who loves the Conjuring house, loves it. He's on Instagram, the_conjuring_kid. Go give him a follow. He let me use one of his clips in my video today, and I'm super excited. And go give Critical Sam a follow too, because Critical Sam has got some critical shit coming out.
Yeah, yeah. And I wanna give a quick shout out to Michael because he's one of the ones on the podcast last week that kind of like stood out there and backed me up. So thank you, Michael.
Shout out to you, Michael. Thank you for looking
Mhm.
out for my co-host. Thank you, Susan, too. I mean, Susan Candy. Thank you, everybody. So I think next week, who do we have next week? Do I have John?
Believe John. Yes.
Okay. So next week, we're going to be changing to Saturdays at 8 p.m. That'll make it easier for you to stay on longer, me to stay on
Mm-hmm.
longer. It's not a Sunday night, and give the guests more time to talk. So next Saturday, guys, we change to 8 p.m. And next Saturday, we have John Huntington from the Conjuring House. And thank you also to John for letting me use some of your footage in my video. What do you think about his footage? Because when I first saw his video and he started crying, I started crying.
Yeah. It's mentally. I can't even imagine what he went through. I can't even imagine. And you could
Yes.
see it. I mean, you could tell that he wasn't faking.
Right.
Definitely.
No. I some people might think he's faking, some might think he's not. But again, living in a haunted location, I lived in for 8 months, and I lived there. Like I had an apartment in there and then the caretakers lived there. It does take its toll on you. What it is, I don't know. Is it the spirits? Is it just the location? I don't know what it is, but I can understand where he's going through. And literally, it's rare that a paranormal investigator gets to live in a haunted location. So not too many people can put their feet in our shoes and walk the walk that we've walked, or even talk the talk that we talk if they haven't been in our shoes before. So, and again, I'm not saying everything is that's happening with Jacqueline is paranormal. Some of the shit's fucked up, going after Jason Hawes's family and the emails, and just a lot of that's crazy. Where
It's a
that's coming
lot.
from, yeah, where that's coming from, I don't know. But yeah, so guys, make sure you go follow John Huntington, Critical
Mm-hmm.
Sam, and the Conjuring Kid on Instagram. He only has an Instagram. So, and we might be doing an interview with his dad here really soon. So I'd love to have the Conjuring Kid on, but he's too young. He's a little younger. So, other than that, I think we are. My glasses are fogging up. I don't know why. I think are we done talking the shit here, and should we bring on our guest?
Talking the shit. Yes.
All right, guys. So tonight we have this crazy, crazy Australian lady named Doof Doof Paranormal. Well, her team is Doof Doof Paranormal, but guys, let's welcome Karen from Doof Doof Paranormal to the show. Hey, girl.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
How is it down under?
Today's sunny. Today is going to be a nice day to be out in my garden later. So there you go.
In your garden. So before we get started, do you see kangaroos like on TV? We see them where people are driving in Australia and they're just crossing the streets. Is that for real?
It depends where you live. So where I live currently, yes, over dusk and dawn you can see them, but they don't hop around your houses. But in my particular area, they've just knocked down a whole heap of bushland to build estates. So the poor kangaroos that were living there have got nowhere to go. So they're getting hit by cars. So you see a lot of dead ones on the side of the roads. But my son lives in our Australian Capital Territory, which is kind of like your Washington, D.C. And around there, the kangaroos are hopping around people's houses because of how it's sort of set out. So you can, but not in the big cities. Not in the big cities. Like you wouldn't see it in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, but certainly in country towns that are near the bush. But not like you walk out the front. No, there's a kangaroo. Hello. I would love to live somewhere like that. That would be awesome. I'd be out there every morning feeding them. But not, and you don't pick up nuggets of gold on the road. And what else? There's no such thing as a drop bear.
Right.
Which you often hear of. It's just a koala and they paint it up,
That's funny. I know when I lived in Florida, I woke up a couple of times. I lived in an apartment complex, and when I woke up a couple of times, there was a fucking alligator under my car. And I'm like, oh my God. And both times I wouldn't have known if it wasn't hissing at me, but I was like, where's that hissing coming from? Like, I'm thinking it's a snake or something. No, it's an alligator twice in the same complex. So I moved out.
It's funny. I got told that because of course we have crocodiles, saltwater crocodiles, and if you saw a saltwater crocodile, you're smart to quickly run in because they're faster than people think on land. You just stay away from wherever the crocodiles are. But I'm told that alligators. I went to see one at a zoo we've got here, and a fellow was in with it, big, massive fellow of this bloody alligator was, and he's patting it and all that sort of thing. And I said, how come? He said, alligators compared to crocodiles, alligators are more docile. And he said they generally just attack when they're hungry. And I thought, okay, so maybe you could have a pet alligator. Just make sure you feed it. Hi, Betty.
I'm good. Hey, Betty, how you doing? Hey, PDX. I've never seen Betty in here before, so hello, Betty. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
Betty's one of my regular subscribers and viewers, and so she pops in, she generally lurks and whatever, and just listens and comments every now and then. She's a nice lady. But
what's up, Emmy? How are you?
Hi, Emmy.
All right, so let's stop talking about animals because this is not.
Oh yeah, this isn't an animal show.
The Steve Irwin show. Correct. It was so sad when he died, but anyway. So, basic question: how and when did you get into the paranormal, and how long have you been in the paranormal?
All right. When did I get into paranormal was primarily years ago, like everybody else. I would watch it on the TV, yeah? So I first saw paranormal investigating where people were going into people's homes to investigate on the ghost hunters, right? So Jason and Grant. And I particularly liked their episodes because they would go to a location, but then they would go to someone's house and do an investigation to help people out. And I thought, wow, this is refreshing. This is nice. This is interesting. So that's where I sort of started to get interested in watching stuff like that. But that was all it was. And then Ghost Adventures came along, and I only really watched that for the eye candy.
Eye candy and Grant or Jason?
Hey, no, Jason. No, not Jason eye candy. I think I had a bit of a crush on Grant for whatever reason. I liked Grant and what was his name? Steve Gonzalez, or however you say his name.
Really? Okay.
Not a crush, not a like if I bumped into him. Wah, wah. No,
I
just
think
like
Dustin Perry was the best looking guy in the whole series.
Dustin's. Now I've spoken to Dustin. He's a lovely
And I'm a
boy.
lesbian, but he's cute.
Dustin's a lovely boy, and he works out at the gym. But he's a lovely boy. I like him. He spoke to me for I don't know how long we spoke for privately, and he was really nice and sweet. So I'll give him that much. But no, with the Ghost Adventures, I'm sorry. I know people don't like the Zach Bagans, but back in the day, I totally enjoyed watching Zach Bagans. I don't know what he was saying. I wasn't really listening. I was just looking. Okay, that's back in his early days. But yeah. So I'll admit I'm an old sleaze bucket.
A sleaze bucket.
Yeah, I like to look. But to truly say when did I get into wanting to investigate and find out more, it was after my son was killed in an accident. So he was killed in 2019 in a truck accident, and something strange happened that night that he died. And of course, I didn't find out until the next day that he had died. But what happened was really weird. I mean, if you want me to tell you what it was, I can. But
This is about you, not about us. It's about you.
All right. Well, the night that he died, obviously, I didn't know. But I was just sitting there watching television in a reasonably good mood, not, just chillaxed, and a wash came over me of absolute despair and depression, and I've never in my lifetime been so depressed. It was like, but it washed over me, and it was like, ugh. And I was just staring off, and my partner, I had one at the time, said, "What's the matter with you?" And I just went, "Oh, there's no tomorrow." And he looked at me and he said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I went, "Oh, no." I said, "Oh, my God." I said, "There's no tomorrow." And I kept holding myself, and I'm like, I said, "I don't know." And it went on for a good probably 5 minutes. And then I said, "I've got to go to bed. I've got to go. I don't know what this is. I'm just going to try and go to sleep." Yeah, all right then. He wasn't too nice, my partner, and it's like, "Yeah, all right, fuck off then." I'm like, so I did, and when I woke up in the morning, I was fine, and I got up, and I was in the middle of writing a letter to apply for a new job, and and my son, my eldest boy, rang me, and it was 6 a.m, but that wasn't unusual. He's in the army, and I thought, oh, my baby's ringing me up to say hello, and he asked me if I was alone, if anyone was with me. Where's Paul? And I said, he's here. And he goes, "Well, is he with you now?" And I went, "Well, he's asleep." And I thought my son was going to tell me that Paul has been cheating on me or something, because that's how it sounded. Like, "Oh, my God, what's wrong?" Like, he said, "Wake him up." And I said, "Sweetie, what's wrong?" And then Alex started to cry and told me that Stephen had been killed in a car accident. And I can't really remember the rest of that conversation because I've just lost the plot. But later on, I was told what time he was killed. And guess what? The time he was killed was when that feeling washed over me.
Wow.
Exact same time. And I have heard that sometimes happens with mothers and sons, like or girls, like daughters, like children.
So like a mother's intuition.
Yeah, and although I didn't know that's what that was, whatever that was, it washed over me. And even to this day, I don't understand that. I don't, and that's why I think there's stuff out there that we just don't understand and maybe never will. But it was probably about a month or two later, and I'm watching everything I could possibly watch to, like, how can I talk to my dead son and all that sort of thing. And that's when I started to think, you know what, I need to look into this, and that's where I sort of started. And then I travelled over to America the following year and met up with some people at what do you call it, the Paracon type things. Listen to how they do what they do, and that's when I started to think about investigating. And indeed I did. I came back to America in May of 22, hang on, last year, Oh, I don't know. Maybe last year, year before, I can't remember now. And that's when I travelled around with Jason and Cassie, and we went to Waverly Hills, Bobby Mackay's, Octagon Hall, a few other places, and that's where I sort of learnt a little bit from them. And then I just learned a lot more by watching other creators and how they do things. And yeah, I've got my own style. I probably talk too much in haunted locations, but that's why I like to go by myself. And then, so if I go by myself and I'm I when I enter a haunted location, I enter it like I'm walking into someone's home. So I come in and I go, hello, hello. I actually act like that. Hello, hello, hi, it's Karen. Do you mind if I come in? Hi. And then I talk about myself and say why I'm there. And then I'll say, so I know this or I know that, if I know things. Feel free to talk to me. I'm just going to, if it's okay, I'm just going to walk around and whatever. And then I'll sit quietly for quite some time, which, of course, you guys know if you put content out there, you never show the 20 to 30 minutes you sit there saying nothing, just listening, because people would think, what the hell, that's boring.
I do it.
Yeah, well, no, maybe I should, because I think
It's
but
the reality of it.
yeah, but that's me in a nutshell. I'm a chatterbox, even with the ghosties. So far, I've not had any experiences other than when I was at Waverly Hill Sanatorium in the death chute, the access tunnel, and I was humming, and I shut up, and because I was out of breath, and I heard humming come back at me, and I'm like, and I thought, and I wish now in the moment I had have, or that the other people I was with had have gone, what, you heard? Because I said, was that you humming to the others? And they've gone, what? Nah. And I'm like, oh, so now that I know how to investigate, I would have said, hang on then, stop everybody. But I was new to it then, so I didn't say stop. But I did catch it. I did catch the sound. So it wasn't me. Could it have been Cassie? Maybe, but I doubt it. So I don't know what that was. That's the only thing I've really had. I've certainly had feelings. Do you get feelings when you go into a house, like the house talks to you, not ghosts, like the walls of the house, like the house has got a story to tell? I certainly get feelings and walk in and I can feel uncomfortable or I can feel very comfortable. So, yeah, I don't know. Did that answer your question? Because I talk a lot.
Yeah, no, it did answer my question. So when you came to America, what was your favorite place to investigate? You said Waverly over Octagon Hall. Did you really say that?
Octagon Hall. Waverly Hills was a hoot because I love a show called Supernatural, with Jensen Ackles and whatever. And in one of their episodes, although they weren't really at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, they go to Waverly Hills Sanatorium because they've got to do a spell, and that's the most haunted place, and so they get all the spirits they need to do this spell. And I thought, oh, cool, Waverly had even got a mention in Supernatural. And then of course I'd seen many episodes with ghost hunters and all the rest, and so it's a famous haunted place. So once I delved into the history of the place and got clear facts on what's really happened there and what hasn't really happened there, I found the place really intriguing and interesting, and I didn't find it scary. I didn't feel it. From memory, I wasn't uneasy in the place at all. It was a bit cold and it was windy, so the tarps were blowing. Didn't see any ghosts except, as I say, possibly the humming in the chute. I didn't find the death chute scary. Very dark. It's blacker than black down there. But I enjoyed it. But the place I loved the most was actually Octagon Hall, which is in, Karen, where is it? It's in Kentucky, I think.
Franklin,
Kentucky. Yeah, that place, if you've never been to it, guys, it was there in the Civil War. The Civil War soldiers died there because they on both sides. So the Yankees and the Southerners, they were there. But a lot of history to that at the time I was there I wasn't quite aware of, and now I am, and I would love to go back because there's obviously soldiers buried on the land very close to them. There's massive. Yeah,
I
mass
remember
grave.
when we went there, there was a, in the back there's two headstones.
Yep.
We put an obelisk on a headstone, and we were asking questions, and we got stand back, feet off, and I was like, oh, I'm standing right on their grave. Maybe they're telling me
Oh,
to get off.
what's interesting about where those two, if were you down in the little graveyard, or were you in that little where the wife is supposed to be buried and whatever? Because the interesting thing about the graveyard that's just outside of the house is that it's there somewhere, around there somewhere, and they've yet to find out exactly. They may have by now. They were going to do that, that ground X-ray thing you do.
Yeah.
But they think that's where the mass graves for the soldiers are, the ones that died, because they were a hospital. It was a hospital down there in the basement. That's where they tended to them, in the basement area. And of course, limbs. There were people were losing limbs and whatever, so they dug a hole. And when people died, so it was a mass grave. There wasn't individual. Some got individual graves, but on the big part, when there was a lot there, they buried them in a mass grave. So that's possibly, God knows. So I wish I had have known that then. Now that I do, but you've been there, so that place is almost like it's breathing. It's
That's
just
crazy. It's like, it makes you wonder, like, you got Confederate soldiers and Union soldiers buried together. How are they living together in the afterlife? What is happening? I need
it's
to know.
interesting. It's interesting. And look, and it's so sad, like, I won't go into history lesson, but when you think about it, they were cousins and neighbours and all that against other, like it was family and friends against family and friends in that war. But yeah, certainly that place, that is one place I do believe spirits dwell. But I loved the place. I just loved the place. There was just I could live in that house. Like, it just breathed. I fed a mouse. There was a little mouse in there. There was a mouse hiding in there. There's a room, the room down there where they've got their gear, like their merch. We were sitting in there, and a little mouse ran across the floor, so I gave it some chips under the shelves. And I remember
Oh, great.
Cassie would sleep in there because there was a mouse in there.
That's funny.
But yeah, and so far as my passion in America, I guess I've got two passions in America. Virginia City is my biggest passion, Virginia City, Nevada, so far as historically speaking. And the Sally House. The Sally House I need to get to, because that's a pet passion and obsession of mine, because I've researched that really, really well. And so I know now the truth about the place, and I find it fascinating. So I don't know. I just love America. I love America.
So when you come back to America and you go to Sally House, let me and Susan know, because I'll
definitely.
go again. I've been there before. Nothing. But you
No.
got to go a bunch of times sometimes,
Yeah, and look, and that's the thing. Like, I've been to Mackay, I've been to the Mackay Mansion a couple of times now. Nothing. I've been to Washoe Club a few times, and by myself, nothing. Nothing. Like that. There's a lot of. I've been to a lot of places and nothing. But that doesn't mean there's nothing there. It just means that on that night, maybe they thought, she talks funny, I'm not talking to her.
So when you decided that you were going to get into this, was America your first place to investigate? And if so, why America and not Australia?
Well, because when I came over that September, the first September I came there, I went to Virginia City for a Paracon thing. And that's where I met some friends, some paranormal investor, and I made friends in Virginia City. And I wanted to go back to Virginia City, but the friends that I made in the paranormal field, they were happy to show me how to do things, and they were the ones I had been watching. And I thought, well, cool, if they're happy to, I'll pay. I paid for all the investigations, cost me a fortune.
You definitely can come with us.
Yeah, well, I paid for all the investigations. I figured if I'm learning from them, why not? And they were very happy with that, and so they should have been, because Waverly Hills, fucking, excuse me,
That place is expensive. Yeah.
Well, you've got to remember, Australian dollar is half of what yours is worth. So it was $1,200 American dollars to go to Waverly, but it cost me $2,000. I think at the time the exchange rate cost me about $2,500 Australian just to go to Waverly Hills.
So if anybody needs a loan, hit up Doof Doof.
I had a good paying job then, so yeah, I was in a good financial situation there. That's since passed, but I still, but yeah, so it was America because I thought, well, I'm getting older and I wanted to live sort of vicariously for my son, for Stephen, because I thought he loved the paranormal as well. And I thought, well, if he was alive, I'd take him with me. Um, so that's kind of why I came to America, because I loved America when I was there the first time. I was only there for 2 weeks. So I went back and I was so happy to have been able to drive around the countryside with the people I was with, and I saw so many things that, like the Ozarks. I've been watching Ozarks, the TV show on Fox, and we drove through the Ozarks, and I'm like, oh, I'm in the Ozarks, and then I saw,
And it is that hopping in the summertime.
yeah, oh, well, and then there was another. There's a song called Hazard, a very old song called Hazard. I've gone blank now with the guy who sings it. Richard Marx sang a song about Hazard and a girl who goes missing and he gets run out of town or something. And we're driving through and I see a sign and it says Hazard, and I've gone, oh. So I was seeing all these things. I went along Route 66. So, excuse my dog. There must be someone at the front door and he's locked
That's
out.
okay. That's all right.
But yeah, so that's why I came to America. I've since investigated around Australia a little bit, but yeah, that's why I came to America. And because also here in Australia, unless you're a really big channel, for example, Sam and Colby or Kobe,
Who cares?
There's someone called the Boys or something. And,
the boys and the girls in Australia there.
Yeah, like for example, if Ghost
I can't
Hunters.
watch them.
So unless you're a big channel and you've got money, I've asked a few places, can I come and investigate just me? Because I like to, you can only come with our paranormal group, and there's a group of 20, and I'm like, I don't know, that's not investigating. I want to come just on my own. I'm happy to go with one of your people if that's the thing, but I would like to go on my own. Oh, well, then you'll have to pay, we have a limit of 20, so it's I think it was $60 or $70 per person, so you have to pay that 20 times and then you can come on.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, fuck. So there's a lot of places here in Australia that unless you're a big channel and you have some way of ensuring that they'll get, seen, that you're not going to get through, which sucks.
Yeah, that's so stupid. If they did that in America, we wouldn't be investigating.
No, and see, in America, thankfully, they don't do that. They might charge a bit, but can you imagine 20 times $70? Shit.
No, I can't.
No. So, yeah.
That's crazy, don't you think, Susan?
It's unreal. It really is.
It's just not right.
At that point, I would just be investigating cemeteries all the time.
Oh God. But yeah, so it is hard. But like I'm going to the UK. This will be my last trip away, I think, because I've run out of money. But I appreciate that. This particular trip I'm going on to the UK was paid for a year ago, so that's when I did have some money. So I'm glad I prepaid for it. But I'm going to that in a couple of weeks. Terrible time to be going to the UK, but that's all right. I'll be ready if anyone gives me trouble. But yeah, so and then after that, I'm going to get stuck into finding places around here that I can investigate without paying through the nose. And there's down in New South Wales and Victoria, because I live in Queensland. Queensland's really hard. Queensland are places that you either come with us and pay a fortune, or no, you can't investigate. But Victoria, New South Wales, Adelaide, they're happy for you to come along. You pay, but they're happy for you to come along and investigate. So yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
We're losing you on sound wise.
Yeah.
Oh, are you losing me?
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Like you were underwater saying, swim.
I know, huh?
Swim,
So,
swim.
Karen, I want to ask you, what kind of research do you conduct before visiting a haunted location?
Okay, so originally when I first started, I not much because I was new to it, and I just believed that what I would be getting told by the homeowners or whatever would be true. I've since learned that's not the case. So now, if I know I'm going somewhere, I research it pretty thoroughly. I firstly look up what I know the history to be or what the place is telling me. Then I'll look into some names. I'll look into the building itself and try and get a history on the building. When was it built? What was it
Mhm.
used by? Who was it built by? Um, and what the history of the building is. Then, if I'm told someone died there or whatever, then I'll dig into the newspaper archives and put in dates and names and see if anything comes up. I'll go to Ancestry.com is a really good source of a lot of things. I know people use other databases, but Ancestry.com would be the biggest database because it also links you back to newspapers, archives. Then I'll look into the actual place itself. So, like the Sally House. So, Atchison itself, I went into things about Atchison, the different databases within that township that can provide you with information on the home and old maps and things like that. So I do a pretty big deep dive, and I'll even go into the history of a particular person, like I did with the Sally House. So I went into the history of the whole family, every family member of the
Wow.
Finneys that built the house. And then that way, when I go, and you've made this point before, Angelina, that way when I go and they show me through the place, if they start saying, oh, and we have seen the ghost of Mary Jane walk down the stairs, I'll go, whatever. I just really want them to show me through the house and let me know if there's anything I need to be aware of, like is there a tricky dicky stair I might trip on, or, leaky taps. I don't want to hear their stories because that's their story, and I don't want to be influenced to think a certain way. So, for example, Sally House, we all know there's no Sally in Sally's house. So,
No, not
so,
all of us. Some people still think.
well, some people still think there is. Unfortunately, that's just a BS story made
Yeah,
up by people who wrote a book.
right.
Familiar?
Oh, you mean like Andrea Perrin? I mean, sorry, go ahead.
And I know, go. Angela Perrin's another one. And look, I'll give my opinion on that. My opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Angela Perrin was a child, yes, when that happened. That was her mother
Hmm.
that happened to.
Yes.
And I do have a background in counselling, so I'm a trained counsellor. I'm not a psychologist, but in learning counselling, you also learn, especially when you're dealing with trauma, you learn about how people can perceive things. So I'll give Angela Perrin a little bit of leeway in that she was a child. So if she was living in a house where perhaps her mother had mental health issues and things were happening, a child can perceive, if they're seeing their mother scream and throw herself around, they're going to perceive that that's a traumatic event for any child to witness. So, do I believe that all that happened in the house? I do believe something happened in the house, but do I believe it was done? No, and especially when you know who was involved in it, the
So
Warrens.
you don't believe when she says the phone would be hanging on, like she would say they walk in the house and the phone would just be hanging in midair, and when they saw it, it would just drop. Well, if you saw it, how come it didn't drop right away? It's like when we looked at it. Well, you looked at it when you walked. So, do you believe
No,
that happened? It was
no,
just hanging there in midair.
Hmm.
Susan's phone does that at her house all the time.
Yeah.
no. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I don't. And it's mainly because, as I say, as a child, she may have been told that this happened. Because I swear to God, that's how things happen. Parents can tell a child, "Oh, did you see that?" A child grows up. Our memories of things that happened when we were little, some can be very vivid, and sometimes over time, it becomes a narrative, a different narrative. So she may well have believed that happened. because she was a little kid being influenced by her family, by her parents, by whatever. I do believe that there was something weird happening in the house, and I don't mean ghosts. Now, having said that, and listening, I did watch your video this morning, Angelina. Very good video, everybody. If you haven't seen it already, when you finish listening to me rant on, go watch it. But
Thank
watching him cry, John, is that his name, John?
Mhm.
John
John.
Huntington, yeah.
That's the other thing, and I was sort of alluding to that before when I said when I walked into Octagon Hall, for example, the house breathed. The house has something about it, and you in living in that old school, yeah, it was a school, I think. Um,
Yep.
Sometimes a place can hold energy, and it
Mhm.
could be a ghost, or it could just be that the bricks and mortar hold the energy of what went on in the house. And let's just say that the parents had a terrible mental health, domestic type situation happening, and the walls and whatever could feel it, and it wasn't a happy place to be at that time. Maybe every now and then that unhappiness gets stirred up somehow.
Right.
Um, and things can. I've lived in houses where I've been real happy, and then moved into a house where there's just something about I really don't like the house, and I don't feel happy there or comfortable, and I can't wait to move. Um, so I was very sad seeing John upset about his experience in the house. So it just goes to show that there's probably something, absolutely something about the house that may have an adverse effect on people, be it a spirit. I don't know. I still haven't seen solid proof of a spirit, but I want to. And I do believe, as I say, with my experience with my son, I definitely believe there's some way to connect to the other side. So yeah, it was just so definitely houses can hold energy, I think, that can affect you. So yeah, but so far as phones hanging in midair and chairs flying across the room, and I'm sorry,
A
I
sewing
just
needle in your leg. You know,
what?
she said her mother got a sewing needle ran through her leg. Can you imagine
Yeah,
that floating in the air? Like I'm thinking,
no,
it's floating in the air. It's coming at her. Well, you see it floating in the air, I would get up and be running. Like,
I was chased by a flying knitting needle or whatever the
yeah,
hell it was.
the knitting
Um,
needle thing. But
yeah,
yeah, where's the logic?
I mean, I'm
Mhm.
not sure. I don't know if anybody knows. Maybe you know, Angelina, because I haven't actually dug deep into Conjuring House because I have no interest. I know the history of the land, and actually, you talked a bit about the history, Angelina, with the owner and the original owner, John Arnold, and all that sort of thing. So it definitely has a fascinating history, and it's a beautiful. But I haven't dug deeply into the actual stories around the Conjuring House. But yeah, I just don't. I'm not a I don't believe in demons. I'm sorry everyone. I believe in evil people that die and remain evil
Me
in
too.
death.
Me too. What about you, Susan?
I actually haven't come across anything evil, but I do believe with both of you that if you're bad when you're alive, then it's going to carry over. It's not like something's going to like bless you and make you pure, you know? I don't know.
So I
No, I
wonder
don't.
how God's going to deal with Cody and Satori going up there tapping out the alphabet. To,
He'll
or are they
probably.
going to end up in
Maybe
purgatory?
he'll put them through a test. He'll say, Cody, Satoria, what am I thinking right now?
Yeah, right. All right, so
Yeah,
let's move on to the next question.
yeah.
I got one, and Susan will ask one, and then we're gonna
Mhm.
get up. We're gonna keep in the paranormal because I know there's more things that you do besides just investigate. Because I watch your lives. So,
Okay.
do you use devices? If not, why not? And if you do, what devices do you think will actually produce paranormal evidence?
When I first started, because I went out investigating with other people, I don't have one, but they used a REM pod. They had all the gadgets, the temperature reading stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, okay, so that's what you do. And that's what I've seen everybody use. I didn't buy a REM pod. I did buy Oh God, spirit. Oh, you know, the radio with the aerial.
The
Yeah.
ghost box. Yep.
Thank you. I brought one of those. I brought some headphones because I thought, oh, that Estes method sounds interesting. You know,
Mhm.
I bought a recorder, but I now don't use the recorder because I find the recorder on my phone is better than the recorder, the handheld one. The I still take it. I still turn it on, but it's sort of got background noise, the handheld recorder. I never hold it, by the way, people. I put it down. I've got the thing for the EMF, you know, the little green lights. That's really about it. I did buy a Boo Bear little light. So
Out of all the equipment, you go and buy a Boo Bear. I've never seen anyone's Boo Bear legitimately go off.
the Boo Bear never went off, but it's cute to look at.
Cute to look at.
So now in my last few investigations where I've gone, I've honestly just taken my phone and I have taken the EMF thing because I want to look to see, because what it's obviously people know what it really is used for. It's just to find electrical current in the walls and stuff like that. So I'll check that, like I'll check electrical current because that can interfere with things. I've never really seen. I don't really like the gadgets, to be honest, but they're fun when you're bored. Okay,
Yeah.
and everybody knows when you're sitting there and you're bored shitless, you think, fuck it. Oh, excuse me. I'll put that on, or I'll bugger it. I'll have a go at the Estes method. I actually find the Estes method. The only reason I really, really love doing it is I don't know that you really get anything truthful from it, but I enjoy doing it because I've got a very busy brain. It goes everywhere in all directions. When I doing this is great for anyone with autism or ADHD. Put that on and you have to concentrate on what you're listening to. It shuts everything else out, so I don't think, and I actually just relax. And then when people tap me on the shoulder, it's like, no. So I do have fun doing that. Apparently when people have asked questions, they've got good answers, but I don't know. I just repeat what I hear. But yeah, only for a bit of fun or because I'm bored. But generally speaking, it's my body. So it's how I feel when I walk into a room, when I walk into a house. Oftentimes when I've been with other people, they'll go, oh, did you hear that? Did you see that? Oh my God, I think I saw a shadow person. Oh my God. And they'll be freaked out and I'll be like,
Nope.
I didn't see anything and I'm not freaked out. Like, oh, did you feel that change in the room?
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
No. So I go with, but that's them going with their body. With my body, no. And I'm slowly learning a little bit more on how to just shh and listen. And I'm good at thinking, no, that's a pigeon. That, you know, or a bump. Well, I don't know, that could just be a rat jumping out off of something, especially when you're in the dark, because rats are nocturnal, right? So I'm not big on, yeah, unless I said, can you knock 3 times for me? And
How's that
then
song? Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want. I'm gonna do that when we go to our next one, Susan. I'm gonna do that.
You're gonna
Yeah,
Knock
sing?
that 3 times.
Nice.
yeah. So you know, unless it's specific to something I've asked, if I hear a bang or a noise, I'm in an old place, it's dark. So unless, like, sometimes people have cameras. Now I've seen people set up cameras in a dark place, something gets knocked over and they're like, oh my God, but you can't see what was behind. You're in the dark. Like, it could have been a little mouse or a rat run behind
Or you
something.
can't see what they set up before they turned the cameras on.
You know, I don't know. I'm a bit of a I'm hard to I'm skeptical, but you know, but some things you do happen and you think, shit, I don't know what that was. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Did that answer the question? I go
Yeah,
off in all different
Yeah, you did answer the question.
Yeah,
So yeah,
definitely.
just my body. My
Yeah. So, Karen, how has your understanding of the paranormal changed over the course of your investigations?
Damn,
Tons.
someone did their question homework.
Tons. when I first started, even those first investigations, when I came out to America for the first time to go with a few people, I was under the impression that, if a REM pod goes off, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because I'd watched people do that. I'd watched, Ghost Adventures and all that sort of thing. Although they explain how stuff works, they didn't explain how it also can be not work, because if the CB radio is going off or whatever, it can set. So I was a little bit more prone to believing that things were, like, the equipment was spot on. I was more prone to believing what I was being told by the homeowners or the building owners. I believed the stories that, like Waverly Hills, I believed, a nurse did hang herself then. Oh, crikey, that's terrible. But of course,
crikey.
yeah, crikey, you don't want that happening. But once I researched Waverly, that never happened, but people still believe it did. But it didn't happen, and yet the story still gets told. So I have learned from the beginning of being gullible and trusting. I believed everything I was being told. Oh, right, okay. Now I've learned, not so much. You've got to look into it a little bit deeper.
But I
You've got
think
to,
all people who get into the paranormal are they believe everything that's going on when you're with people who've done it. Because I did.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to windle out who was full of shit.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people full of shit. And I don't know. So I've learned that, firstly, if you investigate, it's always better to investigate with maybe just one, like no more than 4 people. Even that to me is too much, unless 2 people stay outside. I don't know. I'm not scared to go in anywhere by myself at all. I'll go in by myself. I've been to the Washoe overnight by myself. I've been to the Mackay Mansion by myself. I'm not scared to be anywhere by myself, because there's no humans hiding in cupboards that can jump out and kill me. At the most, it's a ghostie. And I'm very happy to have a cup of tea with the ghostie if it wants to. So I've learned, trust myself, do my research, don't trust what you're being told, because people bullshit. And especially, no offense, well, yes, offense to homeowners. There's some out there that are good and don't tell fibs about property, but the majority I've come across tell bullshit stories to get people in to buy tickets. And that's okay. They're not there to do a paranormal investigation. A lot of these people are there just to walk through the place and have a look at it and maybe get a fright. But when you're really looking for the paranormal, when you're really looking for a link to someone that you've lost, you must not take what you're being told as gospel. Do your research so that you absolutely know what you're walking into. And I know some people, actually, Angelina, I think you're the same, aren't you? You did say that you're the same as me. I don't mind being told the history of the house, who lived there, who built it, but I don't want them telling me their BS stories, because it influences you. So you go in, and although you try to put it to the back of your mind, you still have this silly story about, being pushed downstairs or something. And you're like, oh, shit. So just do your own research. Definitely know the truth about the house. Definitely know what people might have had. For example, my theory, my opinion, I could be wrong, but people write books about houses that they've lived in that are haunted, or terrible things like the Amityville Horror, things like that. Those things never, ever happened. But they wrote books about it, and they made lots of money off the backs of a tragedy that happened in that house. The same with the Sally house. Nothing bad ever happened in the Sally house. Nothing. Except for people who said that they moved in there and bad things happened. But they make money from their books, and I believe they still tour. They still do talking events. I could be wrong on that one. So just be careful what you're being told, and don't fall for it because someone's got a book out.
Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. I think for me, this year, from any investigation on, and I think we're getting ready to go somewhere soon. But I'm not gonna ask for the history anymore, because I researched prior to going. When we're going somewhere in November. I already know where we're going, so I've already done my research and still working on it. I don't want to know the history of the house. I just want the tour. Here's where this room is. Here's where that room is. That's it. So from here on out, I don't want the history of a house no more, because then I get mad when I'm like, no, what you just said is wrong, because I've researched it here. I've researched it there. I'm a huge believer in the Encyclopedia Britannica. That was way before Wikipedia, WikiLeaks, Wiki, whatever. And I get a
Yeah.
lot of information from Encyclopedia Britannica. Also, the Library of Congress. I get a lot of information from the Library of Congress.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I think, well, I don't think, but I don't, I don't know how my team's gonna react to this, but we're not going to tell them to give us a history no more. We're just gonna say we just want a tour, and if we ask what a certain room is, you can let us know yes or no.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
And then
Just
that
tell
will shorten the tour, because sometimes it takes too goddamn long. Hello, Dee. So sorry to interrupt. Hello, everybody who just came in. Carl.
Yeah. Hi, Dee.
Dee. Hello,
Major True.
everybody. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. What is your? Because I want to move on to some other stuff too. But you've been in the paranormal, you said, about 2 years now.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, because when I first started my channel, it wasn't meant to be this. It was just meant to be a place where I could put my adventures. So one day, if I get hit by a truck, my kids can say, "Hey, here's your crazy grandma. Like, look at what she used to do." And that's what it was meant to be. Like, just like, oh, look. But then I found, when I was going to these places, oh, this story needs to be told more so than here's me patting a wild horse.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, about 2 years, seriously. Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing about the paranormal? What is your least favorite, and what is your pet peeve? And Susan, I didn't even look that up. I just made that up on the spot, girl.
My favorite thing about the paranormal.
We should start asking that question.
My favorite thing about the paranormal, I guess, it's changed a little bit, but just the fact that you can be looking for answers, and I said before why I am, and my favorite thing is seeing somebody out there looking for the exact same reason that I am, because they've lost somebody or whatever, and they're trying to find a link, trying to find some way as to where have they gone, is it still possible to talk to them, and the excitement of trying to find ways to do that. My less favorite is fakery. Look, there's channels out there that they're full of shit, right? And it's entertainment. Like, just if you want to have a laugh, watch it. But if you're actually looking for answers the way I am, because I've lost a child, then you've got to take them for what they are. They're just fake, whatever. But people and you mentioned them before, my pet peeve, the thing that really gets under my skin, is when people pretend to be able to speak to the dead. And in doing the human Ouija boards, right, or the toe tapping and all that sort of thing. That is something, and I'm at the time, like, I've never made an actual video on all that sort of stuff, except for once when I saw it happen, and I got very, very upset because I was still in the grief. I still am, but when I first saw that last year, I was still grieving very heavily for my son, and I saw them do that, and I thought, how can you do? Like, I saw how upset, love him or hate him, acting or not acting, it didn't look like acting to me. But when I saw how upset that boy, the blonde boy, was getting when they were saying, "We're talking to your grandma," I thought, you assholes. Like, that's really nasty. Like, that's horrible. That's his nana, and it got under my skin, and I made a video because I think, I don't know if they've ever suffered. Well, they wouldn't. They're too young. I don't know if they've ever suffered the loss of somebody, like a baby or something, right? But when you suffer that kind of loss, you are searching for ways to talk to them, to find out, do you remember that I loved you? Or do you know I loved you? Because you might not have been able to have that last conversation with someone. So in walks these people, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or not just them, people who claim to be mediums. Oh, I can speak to the dead, and your dead one's coming through and telling me this. Trust me, I went down that avenue as well. I was a sucker. I paid out money because I thought, oh, they'll be able to give me a message from my dead son. That's my pet peeve in the paranormal. People who say, I'm a medium, I'm an empath, I'm a really, because if you are, then you tell me such and such. So that's why I got so upset when the Cody and Victoria thing is. So that is my pet peeve. People who pretend. Fakery is one thing, pulling a string in a chair. That's one thing. But pretending to speak to someone's loved one, giving them a message from the other side, in my mind's eye, is the most deplorable, disgusting thing a human being can do, because
Absolutely.
that's preying on someone's emotions over the loss of a loved one. I'm not saying there's not real paranormal like mediums out there. There probably is. I believe there are some people that can use their mind that way. I'm yet to actually find someone really who can do that. I haven't. I kind of thought John Edwards was the real thing.
He was just recently in our city over in Springfield, and I'm like, oh my god! Had I known earlier, I would have got tickets, and I would have been in the audience and say, "Shut the fuck up, you fake ass!"
I brought tickets. I met him, and I believed in him. I will say one thing about John Edwards. Yes, now I look at it through different eyes, and I think, oh, I can kind of see how he could do that now. However, when Stephen died, I did a deep rabbit hole thing into trying how can I talk to him. Like, I lost my mind, okay? But I did watch John Edwards. He's got a channel or a YouTube thing. I will say this, not about him being able to talk to the dead, but he does have videos out there that talk about the grieving process and how to deal with the loss of a loved one and what to remember. And I have to say that really kept me sane. If I hadn't have watched that, I can't say I'd still be here, because that's how close I was. I didn't want to be here. I wanted to go with Stephen. So John Edwards' videos on coping with grief, etc., really did help. So I'll give him that. Can he really talk to the dead? It'd be brilliant if he could, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
So it's like he's got the angel on one side because he does books about grieving, which, everyone writes different. I believe in everyone who writes books about grieving. And then he's got this one saying, I'm going to go fake all this. I can reach out to your loved ones to people, and I'm going to make money both ways.
Yeah. And that's where I'm torn. That's where I'm torn. I would pay. I would actually still now, if I had enough money, I would organise and I would pay to have a reading from him just to see. But then you see the problem is I don't know, but I speak about the death of my son that many times, and people can look up his name because I put his name. Like, so someone could quite easily deep dive into my son and say, oh, he says this, or he says, so that's the thing. You'd have to actually hit someone up that didn't know you from a bar of soap and didn't have time to research you, like the Codys and the Tories. Do you know what I mean? Like they have time. They have time to look people up. It's not hard to do a background check, especially if you're, even if you're not on a well-known person. It's still pretty easy nowadays, unfortunately, if someone's on social media, to get an idea. And people, bless them, some people when they go to see a medium don't know to shut up. They don't know to sit there and just go, Instead, they'll go, oh, yes, my mother, that's my mother. A name starts with B. Oh, no. Oh, my mum's name was Elizabeth, but,
I think the best person I've ever seen do really well with Cody and Satori is when Exploring with Josh did it with them first, when he filmed them first. He wasn't saying shit. He was like, well, I don't know about that person. He wasn't given any clues.
He wasn't given
as
any
much
clues.
as I hate to mention his name, neither was Jeff Gordon. He was not given any information. And that's like what we talked about the other day, feeding into information when people are doing the Estes method and words are coming out and they start feeding off. So I think Josh and Jeff Gordon they were exemplary. I can't even say that word, but you know what I mean. They did that very well. They did not say nothing, not a damn thing. Josh's like, well, I don't know, and he's like, I don't know really none of these people you're talking about. I gotta. So, and if you look up exploring with Josh on the internet, he doesn't have a lot of his business out there.
Nope.
And neither does Death Gordon. So whoever they learned from when they first got into YouTube, very smart guys. Very smart guys.
Yeah, and that's it. I did watch that video. Was it you that put that footage up? It was, wasn't it?
There was a bunch of us. Yeah, Josh sent it to me and a bunch of other debunkers.
Yeah, I did use parts of that footage. I did make a little short, like a couple of minutes video. How to talk, I can't remember what I named it, something stupid like how to talk to the dead. And I had a dance studio, Fox Sisters Dance Studio was my thumbnail. And I looked at him closely, the Cody boy, and I know, and I did the anatomy of how that can happen with your fingers and basically that ligament. And watching him, I'm sorry, that's what it looked like because he's
always been wanting to be a star. His dad wanted to be a star. It never worked out. There's videos on Dead Air Spectrum of his dad and all this stuff. So it just didn't work out. But besides them not idiots, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
No.
Besides them, I was going to call myself an idiot. Besides the paranormal, you also do, you're live a lot. And you do this little, I don't know, podcast with Enzo.
Yeah.
But tell us about that, because I noticed a lot of people are catching on to it. They're starting to join. And every time I go on, you guys are talking about something different. It might be about crypto pictures. It might be about UFOs. It might be about Dolly Parton and her fake boobies. But what is that all about with you? Because you're on a lot.
All right. I did that because, as everybody watching would know, there is a lot of drama in the paranormal community.
No way.
Oh my God, really?
And it really
I didn't know about none of that. Did you?
I had no idea. I was clueless.
I'm on your channel now, so I can say stuff.
You can say whatever the fuck you want on my channel.
So
just not Susan's. You got to have good ones. If she ever has.
Now I'm not saying names, and I do have people that I like in the paranormal field.
But you can
people. I'll say the names of the people that have supported me for sure. Okay, so when I first started, I had some people support me, not for long, but a little while. And but before I started,
it changed.
Hang on. Before I started, before I went to America, I was in the chat of Crow Judas, and he and I started to talk privately, and we'd have phone calls and talk for hours, right? And I explained things, and he was a nice man. So he has always been there from the start, supporting me and pushing me to do things, and he's still there. So kudos to him because he's always been supportive. And then when I did get
a hot dog yet?
No. But so he's still there. Not as much as he used to be because I guess he doesn't have to, but he is in the background. Does that make sense? Like he'll contact me.
I know he's been a little bit sick lately, so I talked to him.
He's been very sick. He's been very cool. And so he's there. So thumbs up. And then I've had The Shape, John, who has also from the very start and remains to be very supportive. I can't help him with anything, right? So he's been very supportive of me and always gives me shout outs when it's necessary, pops into my life somewhere along the way. I'm getting to answer the question. I'm getting there. And then there's been other people along the way that have wanted to be supportive of me, and made friends with me and then asked me questions. Oh, how do I do this? What do I do there? Who should I talk to there? What should I talk to there? And I've said, oh, do this, talk to this person, whatever. And then as soon as that person in the paranormal that has befriended me and I thought, oh, aren't you lovely? All of a sudden they disappear too and go off and do their own thing and you never hear from them again. So the world of the paranormal can be a very hate to burst everybody's bubble, but I've learned it's very nasty. A lot of backstabbing, a lot of taking advantage to get to places. So that's what I've seen. Yeah, well, that's what I've seen. All right, that's what I've experienced. And it's sad because I think if you're going to help people, be honest and help them. And if you're honest and you say, hey, I want to start my own channel, and whatever, and people have said that to me, my own channel, and I've helped them out, and I've said, yeah, do this, do that. Like I'm a tiny channel. I don't even know why they're asking me, but I've introduced them to bigger people and bigger channels and said, do this, contact them this way. So I it's a very dog eat dog world, and it's not it's not as supportive as people. I get more support from the people in the chat.
Yeah, no, I'm going to agree with you. Sorry, Carl, I don't know what I just did there. I agree with you totally, because when I started, and I didn't want to be a debunker. I don't call myself a debunker. I'm a truth seeker.
You're a truth seeker.
When I got into it, I did that first video, Project Fear, thinking, hey, I'm doing something nice, and yeah, whatever, Dakota. But anyway, I got a lot of support. It was going good. And then all of a sudden, I get no support. I don't get the comments anymore from the other debunkers. I get no support. And that's okay with me because I don't rely on others to do what I want to do.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I'm glad about that. But what I have noticed is there are some new people coming on, and they're coming to my channel and they're taking my stuff that's old and they're making new videos to gain popularity on YouTube off of my videos. So
that's not right.
The new there's two of them. There's a guy and a girl, and but I hear you. I have you support me, Susan supports me, Karen supports me, Laura supports me, but as far and my fans, they support us too. But as far as other debunkers, it's just kind of like sometimes I'm in their lives and I'm saying hi and I'm not getting nothing back. So then I leave. But you know what? It doesn't bother me, but it just shows like, hey, I've heard debunkers say, I'm doing this for the small channels, for the small paranormal investigators, the people that are true to this and are not faking and stuff like that. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing and I'm not trying to be rude or say anything, but me and Susan, she's on my podcast. She's a co-host. I talk to real paranormal investigators. I don't want to interview fucking Jason Haas. I don't want to interview someone else that's fucking big. I want the small people. And I've heard debunkers say, I'm going to take care of the small people, the real paranormal investigators. When? Because now you start getting bigger and then you just shit on all the people that you said you were going to help in the beginning. So were you full of shit in the beginning just to gain a subscriber base? I stay out of it now. I stay in my own lane. I watch The Shape all the time. I do. Other debunkers, I'm just not there. But I will tell you this: we do have a predator amongst us in the debunking community, and people need to start opening their eyes. That's all I'm going to say about that. Susan, next question.
Yeah. And definitely, I mean, we have to, support each other. Definitely. I mean, the small channels are what matters,
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, look, you can be influenced by what, and look, I've been influenced. People will say, "Oh, I had this experience with so and so and their shit," and I think, oh gosh, oh, what do I do now? Because, I thought they were okay,
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, shit. So I keep my eyes and ears open now. If someone's good to me, I continue to be good to them. If somebody does wrong by me, and when they do wrong by you, because all of a sudden they want to discuss, speak to you, shout at, like, when you've been used,
Yeah,
okay? And it's
absolutely.
heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because you think, oh my God,
It is.
why? Um,
It's
so
heartbreaking, but at the same time, there's a
it's a lesson.
lesson learned.
So you're never too old to learn.
Right.
Yep.
And as I was saying before, the shape crow, and I know, for example, Beardo isn't too popular with some people for, the Jason Hawes reason. But I have to say, he's always been nice to me. And he did help me in the beginning, shouted me out, and I got some extra subscribers because of that. So on a personal level, he's done nothing to upset me. Do I watch his content much anymore? Not really. I do watch if he puts out funny stuff. And actually, I forgot to answer your question as to why I do what I do on a Sunday, because that's what leads to it. I find it now a little bit difficult to watch debunking channels. I'd still watch The Shape because he puts humor in there, right? But I find it hard because it's often very stressful. I find it stressful that I just find it stressful.
Yeah.
And because it's almost like a broken record too. If you've already proved someone to be a faker, do you need to really,
Do
unless
you
they
need
continue?
more videos on them?
Yeah, like you've done a video on them, you've proved they're fake. Good.
So you talking
Um,
shit about me for all my coding tutorial videos? Is that what you're doing right
no,
now?
no, no.
I'm
That's
just
a little
kidding.
bit.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, but you know why that's different? Because
That's
that's a
different.
different thing. It's
Yeah.
not pulling a string and making something fall off. That's different because that's messing with people's minds. That's messing with people's hearts and
Yes.
souls.
I'm glad you see that because a lot of people are hitting me up saying, hey, I seen you did the meddling mediums with Mackie and Amanda. When's the next one? Do I really need to do a next one? No,
No,
I don't.
like
I'm not going to
they're,
do a
they're,
next one on them.
if they're mediums, I'm Marilyn Monroe. Okay. So
Plus, they were
yeah, no,
very gracious to me. They commented on their video. They were very good. But yeah, why do you need to do 80
you
million
don't.
videos to prove that these people are faking? You don't. I do the coding
No.
tutorial one so much because one, my family saw them live in person and people know that story. And two, don't lie on your loved ones and your dead ones. Don't do it. And don't give people false hope that they're talking to don't do that. So yeah, I agree with you. Why do you need to do
Yeah.
20 million
There's,
twin pen paranormal
yeah,
videos, 50 million mind seeds and
yeah, you don't
cold
have to. Yeah, you
employees?
don't have to. You've already proved them fake. So move on
But
to
you
the
know
next.
why? It's for the views.
The
The
views
views.
and the subscribers.
Yeah, views
Look,
and subscribers.
I'm
Like,
yeah, but that's why, to answer your original question, that's why on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning here in Australia, I get Enzo. He's a friend. I get him. I'll invite other people in sometimes too. And we try to not purposefully speak about anything nasty drama. Like that's why I often put no drama. Like I really try. Sometimes I do go off on a rant because someone might say something in the chat and I'll go, ah, and then I bite. But it's all about, hey, in the paranormal, it's not just about ghosts. There's other stuff that's paranormal that in some way could be linked to the afterlife. Aliens, what are they? So I try to, cryptids, what are they? Why do people think they see demons? Maybe I think it's just evil spirits, or maybe it's something from another realm.
that's
So
what I
I
like
like,
about your live is you understand the word paranormal. Everyone
yeah,
else just a lot of people just think it's
it's
about
ghosts.
ghost.
It's not about ghosts.
No, like look up the definition.
Yeah, and that's why I have Enzo on because Enzo's ex Air Force, but he's very interested in aliens, cryptids, all that sort of thing. He's been once now, a couple of weeks ago, to go to the McIntyre Villa he went to, and bless his cotton socks, he did a SS method, and first time, same as me, suck it in, like, oh, and you could hear the way the questions were being asked, and no bad you do in the lady's direction, asking the questions, but the way you do an STETS method, when you ask the question, if you get a direct answer, great, continue on. But if don't try and make something from the answer you got to no question. Like, what's your name? Hot dog. Oh, you like hot dogs? No, forget the hot dog. That's not their name. That's not the answer to the question you asked. Move on. Ask another question. Do you know what I mean?
Funny.
So, but yeah, that's why I do what I do. I try to make it an evening or a morning of just fun, just some fun, few giggles, learn something new, because Enzo often will, even what's happening in space at the moment with meteors and stuff, a lot of people don't realise that's happening. They're too focused on watching something else and don't realise there's a meteor that if it just slipped maybe a metre in the opposite direction, we're screwed. So he talks about stuff like that,
I didn't know that either until I watched your show, and I was like, whoa, this is interesting. Hold on.
Yeah, and Yellowstone National Park, the volcano. He did we did an episode on that, and he talked about what would happen if that actually does erupt. America's gone.
Yeah.
America's gone.
That's
and
okay. We'll just move in with you.
Yeah, just wear wear one of those wingsuits, and when it blows up, ride the wind to Australia. Like,
I'll borrow Lady Darkwood Victoria's cape there.
Yeah, you could bring out the wings.
So Karen, what message do you hope to convey to your viewers about your channel?
Look, life's short, and not everybody dies when you expect that they will. And kiss your loved ones every day and tell them you love them every day, because you never know what tomorrow is going to be, because you forgot to say I love you. And be happy and be kind to everybody else. Don't be stupid about it. Keep your mind open and realise that, unfortunately, as nice as you try to be and as kind as you try to be, there's going to be people out there that will take advantage of that. But still, that shouldn't stop you from being kind. Try not to buy into all the drama. That's why I do the Sundays. So we try not to talk about drama. Sometimes it slips in, but I try not to. And let's find some real answers to what happens when we pass, and try and even find, try to find new ways to do it. I think all of these old ways are tried and tested, and how many years now have people been using the and the freaking, REM pods, and we've found nothing provable. We need to work on new ways to do this, and that's what I'm trying to do. Work on new ways, new communication ways, if it's even possible to communicate. We don't know. But that's why also I'm not watching very much paranormal content anymore, because it's all the same. It's all the same, and nobody gets anything, and everybody hears a knock, and it's a ghost. It's probably a freaking rat. Like, do you know what I mean? So I'm bored with watching the way it continues to be done. Having said that, I have seen, and I do watch paranormal people and some content. There's a few channels I still watch, because they go in and they approach it in a similar way to me, where they walk in and, hello, my name's like Lee from Three Spires. I don't know if you watched any of his English. Yeah. Three Spires Paranormal. He goes in, hello, I'm Lee. I hope you don't mind, and we're here. And he'll already have done a little bit of research on what the story is, but very respectful. Nothing much interesting happens, to be honest, apart from their banter, which is quite funny. So I enjoy watching anything that's lighthearted yet respectful. Does that make sense?
Does.
So I guess with my channel, I try to avoid the drama. I really do. I don't want to be drawn into, they're toxic and they're nasty. I have been here, spoken my mind, and it's your channel, so I've spoken my mind. But if anyone comes to my channel, unless they trick me the right way, I'll try not to say anything, because I really don't want to be drawn into all the BS. I really don't. People can be friends with whoever they want to be friends with. That's okay. Like, what do I think? Well, you haven't asked me yet, but you can ask me what I think about Jason Hawes.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
Why
wanted to
not?
ask you that because
why not?
I hear you talk about that a lot. So
Yeah,
when I hear you talk about it, I think this is something that bothers her.
it does
So
bother me. You know what
let's
bothers me?
let's get let's talk about that. We got a little bit of time.
Hmm.
So
All
you
right.
good for another 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All
Oh,
right.
cool. Thank you,
I'm having a
guys.
good time.
Okay, so Jason Hawes, I obviously before my son died and all that sort of thing, I loved watching Ghost Hunters. I can still watch that now, old episodes, and relax. It relaxes me because it's calm. They interjected it
Well,
with
it
the
wasn't too calm in the beginning because he was a
oh,
really
no, not in the,
bad
no.
kid.
There was, yes, I
Hmm.
remember all that. The Brian, yes, I remember there was drama, wasn't there?
Yes.
But
Lots.
but like the two boys, Steve and
Oh,
the other boy.
hold on, Karen. You guys can't hear me. Dwayne said he
I can
can't
hear
hear me.
you. I
I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. Yeah. I can't remember that there was the two of them used to go in, the Steve and the other boy whose dad was a cop, and they'd go in and they'd make bets. Oh, I bet you won't eat that
Oh,
bug, or I
Tango.
bet Tango.
Tango.
Yeah. And I used to enjoy that. So I wouldn't ever get nervous because I knew they were safe, and I could watch that. And Jason and Grant, I thought, aren't they adorable? Like, this is lovely. They're such nice people. And
I think
so
Jason looks better now in his older age than he did in
oh,
the
he
beginning.
does. He does. He was such
Hmm.
a chub when he was younger. He's really chubby. Must have
It
had
looks
too much.
good with the goatee and the little thing down, whatever you call that.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing that broke my heart a little bit was up until this whole Cody and Satori thing, right? Up until the whole Cody and Satori thing, I was like, oh wow, Jason Hawes talked to me, like, because he was to me like, oh wow, he's a stand-up guy and he seems to be, as he appears to be, really kind and stuff. Um, and then the Cody and Satori thing came, and I wrote to him just a comment, and I said, I understand your hurt, because I do. I'm a mother, and
Hmm.
I understand the need to protect your children. However, in my lifetime, I've got 6 children in total. Any of my kids that do the wrong thing, they get told off. Like, they absolutely get told off. And I say, that's not right. You shouldn't do that. You apologize, whatever, as a parent, that's what you do. So he believes, obviously, that what his daughter does is real because he said that. He's basically said that. I don't think she's faking. I've been in the room and I've heard the knocks, and I don't think she's faking. That's up to him. That's his little girl. And that's why I said, I understand you need to protect. However, I just kind of find it heartbreaking that they're doing that. Like, I put my opinion forward, and he was polite and everything, but then other people started to put content out. You yourself, Mythos, Beardo put some content out, and then a few things happened. There was doxing and by Jason, some doxing done, and then I was privy to reading some emails, and I won't say who from or whatever, but I was privy to reading some emails from Jason to these people that were rather passive aggressive, like being nice, but then the undertone was, oh, well, there was no undertone. If you continue on with this narrative about my daughter and any harm comes to my daughter because of your narrative, I will absolutely destroy you. I will absolutely destroy you. So let's hope it
Yeah.
doesn't come to that. And I
I got
thought,
that.
oh, you
I
got
got that.
that?
And
And
I
I
even
just,
got it in a comment about legal ramifications, and I'm
yeah,
thinking there's
and that,
there's no one who said anything nasty on my channel because I hold myself responsible for comments. I check the comments before they're posted.
yeah, and look, I didn't. I am like, if I don't know. Apparently, people were commenting about her weight or about, like, commenting on a personal level about her. I didn't see any of that, but apparently they were. That's not on. No, you don't pick on how someone looks, or I don't believe in that. But certainly having a go at the fact that what they were doing was immoral, and I believe it is. And then
One
my point
second,
of view,
Carl had a good point. Sorry to interrupt you. Carl
yeah.
says, but wouldn't that mean Jason now believes 100% in the afterlife? if he
Well,
believes his daughter.
that's what I mean. Well, yeah, I don't know, and I don't know what Jason's thought on that is, because I don't really, other than the original content, I haven't watched any of his latest, and I don't really. So I understand his love of his daughter, and I understand him wanting to protect her. Absolutely, anybody as a parent would, but I don't understand why. If someone's saying that she's faking and putting out evidence to say she's faking, he's got to live with that, because it's there, it's factual, it's there to see, and just, and I know he believes in it, but you shouldn't threaten people. What people have done is not wrong to call her out. I don't believe it's not wrong to call her and him out and say, like you do with anybody else that's faking. But because for me, it's a moral thing. It's not I'm pulling a string to make the book fall off the shelf, or overreacting to a shadow. It's not that kind of fakery. It's a moral thing. It's you saying that you're speaking and communicating with someone's loved one to the point where you've got that person crying and emotional and believing you.
That's
When it turns
emotional abuse,
out, well, you know,
in my opinion. In my opinion,
so in my opinion, my liking for Jason, I still, look, it's wrong to say it. I still understand where he's coming from, but I was so disappointed to know he was threatening people. And I just thought, what does that say? I mean, no harm has ever come to her, to my, other than nasty words, which is, oh no, people shouldn't say, I don't know. Well, I called them assholes, didn't I? Well, but they are. but I just mean, no,
in your
like,
opinion,
in my opinion, what they did, yes, in my opinion, what they're doing is wrong. And if they could go somewhere and prove it, like they have been offered on multiple occasions by yourself, by Kenny Biddle, if they could go somewhere and prove it, everybody would bite their tongue and go, oh my God. And I tell you what, the government would get a hold of them. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Because when
They
I
would
even threw it out there, like you guys said to the debunkers, if you want us to show you, just hit us up, just ask us. Well, when I ask, then I get people are threatening me because of you, and then the cops get called on me. So there's always an excuse with them, always.
Yeah, and so that's why. So my opinion of Jason Hawes is, I do not think he fakes anything.
I don't either.
I think at the heart of it, he is a good person, and I think he's let which is easy to do. I think he's let the love for his daughter override common sense. So if he believes his daughter, which he has said he does, he believes that what they do is real, that's okay. But still let people have their opinions and voice why and show why they think that that's untrue, and encourage her to go forward under some scientific testing with, by not, their friends that own a barn. Get them tested scientifically and say, hey, come on, honey, why don't you? Because I believe you, why don't you?
He
And,
did.
and
He did with Biddle, and he turned it down. He encouraged her to do it, and they said no. I guess that's how.
yeah,
Acosta and Julie got stuff.
so,
I can't think of Julie and not just remember her saying you can't debunk from a video.
look, I mean,
laughing not stop.
if Jason Hawes wanted to hit me up and say, come on, Karen, I'll pay for your airfare out to Rhode Island, and I'll let you meet Cody and Satori, I'd sit there and listen. But you see, I know, for example, if they said they were talking to my son wasn't stupid, and there's a few things that they could say that they could quite easily find on YouTube about him and me, so they could absolutely background check me and oh, your son was killed, blah, blah, blah. But there's a few things like that they could tell me all that, and I wouldn't fall for it unless they said something that was particular to the situation that nobody knows. And people could say, oh, well, maybe the ghost won't say that. Well, if the ghost can make you count, if the ghost can say things by stopping you at a particular letter in the alphabet, bullshit. They can tell you what you need to know. So because some people say, oh, maybe the ghost didn't tell me that because I can't be clear. Well, you're pretty bloody clear with an alphabet and spelling things out. So if they want it, I'll eat my words and whatever. So that's my feelings on Jason Hawes. I'm disappointed. That he felt he had to threaten people. That's why. But at the heart of it, he's probably
Allegedly, she means allegedly because
oh, well, allegedly.
she's heard
I
it
mean,
from other people, so it's
I
alleged.
read other people. I read his emails to other people. Yeah.
You gotta watch
So
it. I don't care what you say in here, but we do have to use opinion and alleged.
it's my opinion, allegedly. Okay, allegedly. That's what I was shown, allegedly. So that's why my opinions have changed. Allegedly, my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Okay. So I can only say I was shown an email that was written by him, allegedly. And if that was really written by him, allegedly, then I found that sad. That's all.
So,
But that's all. Does that? I'm not in trouble legally, am I? But
yeah,
if
no,
Jason,
no. No, you're not in trouble legally because you're just giving your opinion.
it's just my opinion. But like I say, if Jason called me and said, "Now, Karen, blah blah blah," I didn't write that, then I'd go, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry."
And
or
if he did write you and say, Karen, I didn't threaten anybody. Can you show me those emails? Would you show me the emails?
Yeah, I can. I've still got.
That's my kind of bitch. You go, girl.
Yeah, I've still got the
bitch in a good way.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So, and yeah, I can. But that's a thing. And he may have written those emails in a moment of anguish and despair or whatever. So he can explain that, like, oh yeah, look, I did threaten people, and now looking back on it, I wish I hadn't have, or something like that. But his daughter was in no danger. I think she was just upset because she was caught out and didn't know. She's only young, so didn't know how to deal with all the negativity. And there was. So it's a pretty. That's the only thing. But that's what I mean. I don't talk about anything like this on my channel because, yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I get where Jason's coming from. I'm not someone that is, out there doing what Cody and Satori are doing, but my mother is aware of what I do on YouTube, and she's concerned for me. She's concerned. She says she doesn't watch my videos, and I'm like, well, how the hell do you know I said that if you don't watch my videos? But she's concerned, and she says, do you think you should say that? Do you think, even though it's the truth, So I understand where he's coming from, because if somebody came on my YouTube channel and said something nasty about me, my mother would be all up in them comments. She'd probably be doxing, getting addresses and phone numbers. So that's another reason why I hold my comments, for the sake of my mother's sanity. So I understand where Jason's coming from. And no, I've never seen or heard of Jason faking. So, and again, like he says, you're going to believe what you're going to believe.
Yeah.
It's and okay he believes. Yeah, and he believes, but it's not okay to ridicule, call names, and some of the things the other debunkers say that are just disgusting. So if he did send a cease and assist letter, I can't blame him. I can't. Yeah, but at the same time, all the video has to be watched before you send cease and assist letters.
That's true.
So a lot of debunkers will put their point at the end.
Well, I hope I don't get a nasty email now, because then that'll really make me sad.
If you do, that'd be funny. Like, Karen, who sent you those emails? Because I never said that.
Yeah. Oh, I'll just show him. I'll just say, this is what you wrote, dude. Here it is.
He apologized to me, and I even deleted the comment, because I understood. Like I said, I don't do what his kid does, but my mother is concerned and worried.
Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, and that's what I mean. So that's where I am with Jason Hawes. I still think he's a nice dude, and I just think his reactions were misguided, and it was disappointing to me to see that. However, as a mum, I understand needing to protect your children. But there would have been a better way. Just let it run its course. Just explain to your daughter, you've done what you've done. People either believe or don't believe, and you've got to run with the punches. So some people are going to believe you and some aren't. You've just got to have a thicker skin. You put yourself out there, kid. This is what you get. Go ahead and try and prove it scientifically. And if the kids don't want to do that, that to me speaks volumes. So
I
that's
see. I think
that's
a lot
all.
of people saying it's tarnishing Jason's image. I don't think it's tarnishing his image at all. I think he's more. I like ghost hunters. He's more exciting watching on YouTube. He's really exciting, and it's not tarnishing him at all. Look how quickly he got to 100,000, and then he did that cute little reel about the YouTube plaque he got and everything. But I don't see it tarnishing him at all. I really don't. I see worse comments in other debunkers' videos than I see at all in Jason's.
Yeah. I can see people in the chat there talking about Jacqueline can't speak to the dead and whatever.
How do you know? How do you
I've-
know?
Well, I've got my opinion on that too.
So I was going to ask you that next.
Yeah, well, I've seen all the kerfuffle. Unlike you, I don't have receipts, but I've watched, and I'm just from a common sense point of view. You've got Cody and Satori, who can speak to what's the name of the lady they say they talk to at the house?
Hold on. Abigail.
Is it Abigail?
She's in my box. Abigail, stay there.
This is my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Okay, this is my opinion. It may not be fact, but they can talk to Abigail, and they can talk to Sam and Colby's grandparents. They can talk to other people's dead people in that house. Brian, the man who says that he didn't get paid, he says they open doors for him when his arms are full. I saw him in an interview. Oh, yeah, the spirits are wonderful. One day I was coming into the house with packages, and I was worried about how I would open the door, and the spirits, they opened the door for me. And
I think that's in one of my videos, yeah.
It is. That's where I saw it. And I thought, okay, so he believes the spirits are in the house and they open doors for him. Cody and Tori talk to spirits in the house. And I'm like, so hang on a second. Why is it so far-fetched that Jacqueline, who owns the house, why can't she talk to them? Who are they to say? I mean, they can, and yet they're trying to make fun of her for that. So they're going on the news, and I watch the news reports. Oh, she said that John Arnold, a 200-year-old ghost, told her that so-and-so was stealing. I'm like, why is that ha? They talk to his wife.
A 200-year-old ghost.
Yeah, they talk to a 200-year-old ghost. They talk to the wife. And hang on, and Brian, they open doors for him. So hang on, what? So, I don't know who's telling the truth in this whole big kerfuffle of BS.
I think they're all lying. I think they're all telling some truths and they're all telling lies. But there's a lot of secrets that are there. And, I've said this from the beginning. There's a lot of things that I know that I will not put out there because it will hurt people's feelings in a bad way. And I'm just not going to put stuff out there. But, I was just telling Christina today, I was like, how can all these people, Corey, Jen, Aaron, Cody, Satori, everyone who works there, Spirit Tiff, Medium, say that she's not talking to spirits? Because I know people who say, well, I didn't get my abilities till I was in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good point. And that's what I try to point out in my video today, or the other day, what? But you can, but they shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's not a good argument. And if so far as the other fellow you made a point today, so far as all of them, to be honest, all of them, I do have an idea of why they've put it to the YouTube, because they want people to hear it, maybe clicks, I don't know, get their faces out there and known, go to the news, whatever. Why did they do that? Why?
Yeah, they didn't have to do that.
They didn't have to do that. They could have just gone through normal legal channels, as anyone would if they didn't get paid, which I believe Brian did, and you indicated that he's now sought legal advice.
Yeah, he was on the news.
That it was not backed by the Labor people.
Well, Well, so I saw. So let me just interrupt and get that straight before people think something. I saw the news report because, of course, we see it all over here in New England. It's embarrassing, but I saw the news report. And he had to get a lawyer. He's getting
Yeah.
lawyers too for his wages and slander. So I called the Rhode Island Labor Board. I asked some questions pertaining to that, and my opinion is he lost his appeal because you couldn't show no pay stubs, you couldn't show no clock in time thing, none of that. No one talks about when they would clock in or clock out. He talks about an app. So you probably lost your appeal. So you got a lawyer. So trying to get that money from Jacqueline that she owes you, I don't think that's ever going to happen because you worked under the table, and that's illegal in the United States. It's illegal by the employee and the employer, especially in Rhode Island. So
Oh, so you can't get cash in hand. They can't
right.
say,
So
"Oh,
I don't believe that part of what Brian's saying, and that's what makes me skeptical about the text messages. Just with him, like, or anybody really, because you can change the name in that. And then I'm really skeptical about Erin, because Erin has been trying to get her claws into the Conjuring House as far back as I know, 2021, through a text message that I have. And if anyone calls me out, I will show the text message because I have proof. But she's been trying to get her claws into that place since 2021. So my theory with Erin is, are you the one fucking around with the Conjuring House website putting out some shit out? Are you the one fucking around people's payrolls? Did you tell Cody and Satori that Sam and Colby were showing up because you work as an administrator? Was it you? Because the source hell wasn't Abigail like they said. It was somebody else. But there's something that's just not right, but they're all liars. But as far as Jacqueline's concerned, something is wrong. It either has to do with that house, or it doesn't have to do with the house, and maybe just the craziness of how big it is, and she didn't think it was going to be that big. But again, like you said, why did they have to bring it to the public, the work part of it? And, Aaron Bush saying, we this was going on for months and we kept quiet about it. What do you want, a fucking round of applause? You should have left a couple months when you found out it was all going to hell. Leave your job. The only excuse is, oh, we love the house. We're attached to the house. Well, I was attached to the school I lived at, but when the caretaker took a shit on me and treated me like shit, I was the fuck out of there. So there's things that they're not saying. And it makes me mad. Like, y'all are talking about Jacqueline in the podcast the other day, but no one is saying her fucking name. Why? Why aren't you saying her name? If you're not afraid to be sued and you're not lying, why aren't you saying her name?
Yeah. And look, and people can be corrected many times. Like, you can say something about someone and then later on find out, oh, shit. And that's where you go, oops. I really thought that to be the case, but since I've been shown such and such, and I know it's not the case, apologies, whatever. So you do have to be careful what you say about people, and that's why, as you say, my opinion. But in my opinion, the whole thing, if everything is truthful and real, could have been handled privately without the eyes of the public or the news channels on it. And like the insurance thing with the barn burning, that's really weird. I think I mentioned this to you on my channel the one time I did talk about it. Here in Australia, I don't know what it's like in America, but if you have valuable things and you move into say I was going to move into someone's home and rent a room from them. I bring all my stuff to that room, my valuables, etc. I am not going to expect that if the house burns down, their insurance is going to cover my expensive items. So therefore, when we move into a home or whatever, we get insurance on our items because the homeowner has insurance if the building burns down, but you get insurance for your items.
We do have that in the United States. Like, I live in my aunt's house. I live on the second floor. I pay rent, and we have renter's insurance because if this house goes up, it doesn't cover nothing for us.
Correct. And I would dare say that was a similar, I could be wrong, again, my opinion. I wonder why if the items in the barn were so precious and expensive to the Cody and Satori, why they didn't take out their own insurance on those items, even if they were told by the homeowner of, oh no, that'll be covered. No, probably you can't take her word for it because she maybe doesn't know the underlining or the underpinning of the insurance policy. So I don't think they've got a leg to stand on getting any money out of her for that, because she may well have been under the opinion that thinking it was insured. Obviously, she did at some point ask them for what items, etc., were lost, and she'll put it to the insurance company. Insurance company has probably come back to her and said, no, we're not covering that. There was no insurance on content. We only had insurance on the barn. You know,
Well,
we don't.
I found out some information. I found out some information on that, and that's going to be out in the next video.
Oh, very
But
good.
my question is too. So talking about the barn with all their stuff, why didn't they? I know a sprinkler system is expensive, but just because you didn't need one in a barn, why wouldn't you put one in anyway? Because you have expensive things in there.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
didn't make sense to me either. So
Yeah.
if you're cutting corners there, where else in life are you cutting corners?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but most certainly, I have no idea why they didn't insure their stuff. Like that's really, I would. I'm very careful with things, so I know I would have. I would have gone off, but I'll just get insured because look at the situation. The barn, for whatever reason, did catch fire. I don't know. Was it ever investigated by the? I mean, I know they said
it was found that Brian Steve Mills was staining the shelves, and he put rags in the bag with the combustible with the stain and stuff, and it caught on fire. So my thing is, it sucks that happened to him because I know he felt bad, but even I know to read the instructions on something that's combustible.
Yeah, and it's funny. Yeah, I've just seen Carl's question. It's odd to me.
Yeah, no, it wasn't arson. It wasn't arson.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a stupid mistake that caught the barn on fire.
But Steve also does say, I don't remember putting the rags there.
And he says he thought he wouldn't have. So look, that's gonna, oh boy, another conspiracy theory. Yeah,
there's so many.
There's so many. But
the weird thing is nobody's been putting anything out on Jacqueline because she's staying quiet, she's smart, she knows what she's doing, and everybody that's attacking her, who says they're not attacking her, but you are attacking her. I'm going to sue her for slander. I'm going to sue her for this, for that. But look what you're doing. You're destroying her on social media. And that could be what's getting to her and getting her drive her fucking crazy. I don't know. I have no clue, so, but I don't, there's nothing to say about her because she's being quiet, which is smart. She's keeping it as a work thing.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Well, one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. But most certainly on the point of the insurance, I don't think those two have got a leg to stand on because they were silly and didn't insure it themselves. You can't rely on other people to look after your things.
And they said that they were microphones and audio stuff. So when you buy audio stuff, like, my laptop, my microphone, I have insurance on it in case it fucking breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's
Cody, you've been investigating since you were 16. I'm sure you would think like, oh, hey, I go to the store, I buy a camera. What's the first thing they say? Do you want the extra insurance on there?
Yeah, and who knows?
Had they got insurance, they would have probably got it back.
Conspiracy theory, whatever. One day we might find out it's all a farce. It's all a publicity stunt, and all of a sudden, who the hell knows? This world's just so crazy.
After what I found today, I think there's some stunt going on, and I told you guys about it before the show. So I think that something is into play here, and then nobody's going to be able to be touched because of a document.
Wow. But it's just so weird.
But it would be funny as hell if it was.
You know, and this is just our opinions, you know, and it's our opinions, and people can jump to all these conclusions because we don't hear from Jacqueline. So we're not getting her perspective. What we're seeing is the other side showing stuff, but alternately, we're not exactly seeing what they're sending to her or what they may have verbally said to her. So a lot of times you can say something to someone to mess with them, and you know you're not being recorded, you know you're not being seen, and you know it's going to provoke a reaction. You know,
Or
I'm
make
not saying,
fake pages to contact people.
yeah, you know, yeah. So I don't know. There's so much we're not being told, and everything that we are seeing. I mean, why go to the news? What do you think that's going to get you? Really, all it does is draw attention to the owner, and she's getting horrible people. Every time you go on that page, people are saying, "You're stupid. You're ruining the house. It's your fault. Someone else should own the house. She's destroyed the house. She's the because
But
you're
you know
listening."
what? You know what, Karen? Here in America, haters are your biggest fans because people keep coming back, and that counts as a view. It counts as a click. It counts as this. It counts as that. So hate away because look at her videos. She's got like 60,000 on one video on Facebook. I know that's good money. I know. So keep hating, and then we're gonna boycott. What are you boycotting? Because you keep fucking talking about it.
I
So
know.
what
I
are you
know.
boycotting?
Have you ever seen that show, Monk? Have you
Oh, I
ever seen
love
the show?
that. Yeah.
We need Monk. We need Monk to go in. He can investigate the fire in the barn. Then he can investigate all the other stuff. We'll get the
And
truth
Angela
from Monk.
Lansbury and him. Did we get right here?
Yeah,
Angela
Angela.
Lansbury.
Oh,
Kojak. We'll bring Kojak.
and who's the guy that wears the coat? Peter
Columbo.
Falk.
Columbo.
Oh,
Columbo.
Columbo, Monk,
We can get
Murder
Perry
She Wrote.
Mason.
Yeah, get them all in it. I don't know. It's the biggest who did it, who done it, who didn't do what. It's just so.
Yeah.
Oh, the good thing about my talk with you today is I've lessened my. I've had second thoughts on Jason Hawes. Maybe I was a bit too judgmental. Maybe I should think about it a bit more. Maybe I should just put him in he's her dad. I'll put him in that he's her dad box, and I'll forgive him for being nasty and threatening because he was worried about his daughter. How's that
Yeah.
sound?
I mean, I when I emailed him back, I said the same thing. I understand you sticking up for your daughter because I would do the same thing for my stepson, you know, and
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. So
This is why it's always good to talk things out, because when you have it in your head and you just talk to yourself, which I do a lot, you can, blah, 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 blah. But then when you talk to other people and say the same thing, and then someone else, like you did, says, "Oh, but such and such," then you go, "Yeah, actually, I can see." That's why it's good to talk about these things, you know.
yeah.
So,
But a lot of times people don't talk; they just go on social media.
yeah, and they just don't think about it. Yeah, so maybe I won't be so harsh. Maybe I still will. All right, I'll still maybe watch his channel. He does have a calming. I'll admit that's why I used to. That's why I used to enjoy Ghost Hunters. He does have a very calming effect when you watch him. So they can be in a really haunted place and shit can be happening, and he'll be like, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm calm now." As opposed to if you're watching someone else, oh my god, did you see that? And it's like, like
That's how
that.
Susan is. Susan's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, that spider. Oh no, I'm just kidding.
I'm nowhere near like that. No.
Oh,
I'm
you've
just
got
kidding.
really horrible spiders in America. We've only got our Harry Huntsman but you've got them things that, what are they called? Brown recluse spiders or something?
Brown recluse, yeah. I've
They're
had one
really
of those lodged in my ear before, and it ate half of my eardrum.
gross.
Yeah, it was gross when they pulled it out. I was like, I could have died. I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? I could have died. But if you guys have any questions for Karen, put them in now because our time is almost up.
Yeah.
So what does that one say? Dwayne Hinton says, if your kids were out in public lying about, oh, I've talked to your deceased loved ones, would you go out in public and be like, my daughter isn't lying, how dare you?
No, I wouldn't. I'd go to my daughter and say, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And even if I believed them, I'd still say I'd only have a go if they were calling her names. Like, if they, this is just an example. I don't mean that they called, oh, yeah, you bulgy-eyed, bald prick. That's not on. You don't call people. You don't go after people's looks. If they, then I have a go. Don't you say that about my daughter? But if, yeah, I would have just, if I were Jason, I would have just kept my mouth shut, and I would have maybe just said, "Hey guys, settle it down a bit. No matter what you believe, please don't call my daughter. Don't attack." Which I think he did. I think he did come forward and say, "Don't attack my daughter's appearance and stuff."
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
why. I don't know why they would. She's a cute looking kid. Like, how old is she? She's only little, isn't she? How old's she?
I don't know, 25, 26.
No.
I know one time I had done a video and was referring to an interview her and Cody did long time ago. And I felt even bad. I didn't know what to say. I was like, I'm not trying to talk about her body or body shame her, but she was a little different looking than she is now. And he was a little, but I've heard people say, terrible things, and it's disgusting. I mean, if it was my kid, if my stepson went out there and said, "Hey, I can talk to your dead loved ones," da 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 da, I would pull him aside. I would tell the people he's full of shit quietly, and then I would bring him home. And then I don't want to say what I'll do. I'm just kidding. I would have a talk with him at home
Get the
and say,
crap out.
Yeah,
Paddle
I wouldn't.
bar.
I wouldn't call my kid out in public because
No, not in public.
that's teaching him something bad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Susan, what would you do? You have a son.
I would do the same thing. I mean, if he does have abilities, that's fine. But, it's, I would definitely take him to the side and, because you don't really want to, I don't know. You have abilities. Yes, that's great. But you can't it just, I don't know. I feel indifferent about it because, it's my son, but.
Yeah. So it's like Carl just said, where'd it go, Carl? Said something about Jason. If he's going to lie about this, how would any of his investigations be real? And Dwayne said that. And Dwayne, that's a hard question to answer because it is his kid. And when you have children, they are your world. You would do anything to protect him. I will protect my stepson from anything besides if he argued somebody, SA'd somebody, or murdered somebody.
Yeah.
I would not stick up for you. I'll be the first one to call the cops.
Yeah.
But other stuff like it's hard, Dwayne. It's very, very hard. But again, personally, I've never heard of Jason faking, and I've never seen Jason fake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that one. And that is the,
I haven't seen any. So I don't know. It's a hard question to answer.
Yes.
And it is hard. But yeah, I certainly would never. That's how I would have handled it if I were Jason. I would have pulled her to the side, but then see, he believes her because he said he believes what she does. But I still would have pulled her aside and said, "Listen, you're going to cop, like I said before, you're going to cop a lot of shit for this, and I can neither." Support you like they really need their own YouTube channel. He probably needs to step away and let them deal with the mess that they've made.
They do have their own YouTube channel. They just don't use it.
Well, then why do they? And that's the thing. He keeps bringing them on his channel. Like, that's where I think that's the separation.
Are you using them?
Yeah. Like I'm your dad. I love you. I don't want any harm to come to you, but you need to grow up. You're adults now. You need to deal with this yourself, and you will get the hate. You will, because people don't believe you. And I think that's where he probably should have just left it. But
this has been fun.
Yes,
this has been fun. We're at the 2-hour mark, guys.
2 hours. Who'd have thought?
So, let's see. Doof Doof, do you have anything to say before we let you go? I mean, I could talk to you all night long.
I just want to say thank you to Major Truth for saying that my hair looks great. I think. And Holly, no, there's no more drama and carry on in the paranormal. Well, actually, paranormal. See, I don't cover it like we said before. Ghosts and it's just ghosts. The whole field, the UFO field, cryptid field, crikey, even frigging pop culture, there's drama everywhere. So
Yeah.
no, I don't think there's any more in the paranormal than the other. I just think that when you're dealing with dead people and people that have lost loved ones, it's a little bit more personal. When you're just dealing with, J-Lo's left Ben Affleck, who cares? They're all millionaires. People leave people every day. It's not really an emotional thing. But when you're saying, I can
She
talk to
just can't
dead,
hold the marriage down.
so there you go. But yeah, this has been fun. This has been fun, and it's been a learning curve for me. Don't worry, people. I do like people, and I still keep my eyes open for fakery. But I'll be the first to admit when I could be wrong, and maybe I was wrong about Mr. Hawes. Maybe I should let him have that one because of I don't know what was horrible said exactly. So I'll let him have that one then. I'll take that back. But I'll keep my eyes open. It's a continued effort to live and learn and not jump down someone's throat at the first possible chance.
Yeah,
but
you can't be mad at yourself for that because I did that when I first started my first couple of videos. I dragged Jason's name into it, and then I thought to myself when he hit me with that legal ramification stuff. I sat down and I thought, well, first of all, I didn't do anything that you would have to come at me legally for. But then I sat down and I thought about it, and I was like, why am I mentioning Jason? His daughter is grown. He has nothing to do with what his adult child does.
Yeah.
So and people, I don't talk about Jason anymore. I did in my video today, but it was in defense because people are emailing me like crazy. Do you believe Jason? Do you believe that Jacqueline's doing this? Fucking yeah, I believe him. He's not going to sit there and tell a lie on fucking social media and then not back it up somehow. He's not going to show it to us because it's personal. It's probably really vile, and it's against his children.
Yeah.
So the rest of the people don't need to be dragged down in it, but
and we don't. And that's and that's my last word on the whole thing is if you want to avoid drama, come to my channel because I really try hard just to concentrate on putting fun content out there. And when I have my lives, sometimes I can go on a Karen rant. A bee can get under my bonnet. But I try because there is enough negativity out there in the paranormal world. You tune in and someone's saying something horrible about anyone. And I think today we've been pretty good. We haven't said horrible things about anyone, I don't think.
No. So when can people catch you live? Do you randomly do it? Because I catch you randomly.
Usually, and I'll keep an eye out because you said you're going to go now America Saturday night 8 p.m. Yeah,
I think. Well, next week we have Shannon Humphreys, the 26th. That'll be at 7 p.m. And then we have John Huntington on the 31st, which I got to change the date. That's going to be on Saturday 8. So next week will be this time, and then next Saturday we're going to try a different live time.
So normally I go live 10 a.m. Australian time on a Sunday, and I'm not quite sure what time that is in America.
What time is it now?
The time, here we go. It's 11 a.m. now. So what time is it where you are?
It's 9 o'clock p.m.
9. So 11. So I normally go, which is 8.
I catch you between 1 and 3 in the morning sometimes, 12 and 1 or little 11.
That's probably what I do. Sometimes I do go randomly, like it might just be the middle of the day and I need to vent. I need to talk.
Now, are you using Yardstream when you go live, or because? I go live. How are you posting that you're going to go live, or do you just because I'm trying to get people to come follow you, come watch you?
Just on my channel. I just Facebook. I put it on Facebook. Hey guys, I'm going to go live. Blah blah blah. So and I really try when there's and this is what we call helping each other out, people watching. So I normally go live 10 a.m. Australia time, which at your hour would be 8 p.m. on a Saturday night, right? So now you're going to go 8 p.m. on a Saturday night, which means technically we're both going to be live at the same time. Having said that, though, people, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to promote Angelina because Angelina's probably going to be talking to different people and stuff. Like, I'm actually going to want to watch what you're doing, so I'll watch it after you. But we often try to support each other, and sort of shout each other out, because women in the paranormal need to help each other. And there's a few of us out there that do, because some people think girls don't know what they're talking about. Probably got, no offense to boys, but you probably got a better chance of having some kind of connection with the paranormal from a woman. I'll be sexist now, because women create babies in their bellies, and we've got a connection with our babies through DNA and all sorts of things, and we can feel our babies kick inside us, and we can still even talk to them a little bit when they're out of us. Well, I think we have some kind of natural pull towards otherworldly things. That's me being
telepathic.
a bitch.
You're telepathic with your children.
You are a little bit. Like we know as mothers, and I'm sorry, dads, it doesn't always happen with dads, because really you're only there for the first few seconds of inception. Bless the cotton socks, but really you're there for the fun stuff. But really, I do think women are able to, like, we know when our kids are in trouble. I don't know how, not all of us, some of us maybe don't pick up on that, but a lot of women will say, oh, I think I better call Mary today because and sure enough, you ring Mary and she's, and something's happened. So I think women have an ability to pick things up a little better than most men, because I don't know. I hope that makes sense. And no offense to men. I love men. Men are wonderful creatures.
Yeah, no, that made absolute sense. Like men are stronger. Women have better intuition. There's
Yeah, I tell you what, there's a man in the house. He's the first one I'll ask to open the jar, because they've got muscles.
Yeah, exactly. But Susan, anything before we say goodbye to our guest?
No, it was great having you on, Karen. Absolutely.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do a part 2.
And I'm just going to say one thing for those of you who don't know, because Susan's got her hood up, which is a huge hood. That's why it goes where it is. She's got the most beautiful eyes. You should show people one day your beautiful eyes. She's got beautiful eyes, and she does them all up. She's got makeup on. Yeah, but so I have seen her face, and she's very pretty.
Thank you.
Yes. And if you guys want to see what she looks like outside of that, go into our videos and watch. I pulled a prank on somebody. Because Susan's eyes, I don't even know if I have.
Or actually, my early videos of my podcast, I actually wasn't wearing a hood. So
yeah, she's not afraid to show her face, people. Just so you know.
And she wore her cloak thing, in like 90-degree weather to come help us volunteer to raise money for a theater. She wore that all day and people loved it. She even investigated in it. She even scared me a few times. I look over and I'm like, what is that in the dark? Oh, it's Susan.
Hey, you should, Angelina, I'll say one last thing, because I can talk in case anyone's noticed. You should do a GoFundMe and just try and get some money over the next couple of weeks and pop over to the UK around about the 12th of September, and you and I can just travel for the 2 weeks if you like. I
wish I could, because I do have a passport. That's something my parents have always made sure we have, and I can't because, and you guys might not see me too much in September. I might have to take a little break because Christina's having surgery on September 4th, and she'll be down for 6 to 8 weeks. So I'll talk to you about that, Susan. So I think after, so we do have John next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Today's the 27th. What's today's date? Not the 27th.
Today's the 18th.
Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm looking at the yard stream on my computer, and I'm like, how are we having the podcast today? And it says the 27th. It says created. Oh, created. Okay. So I got John next week.
Mhm.
And then September 1st, we have Shannon. And then I think
But-
I'm going to take a 6-week break.
But then on mine, we have Raymond on mine
Right.
on the 28th.
Yours will be of this month.
The 28th, yes.
Okay, that'll be good for me to do. But yeah, so everyone out there who knows, in September, you won't see me the whole month of September on Susan's podcast or my podcast because I have to take care of the family. And
Yep.
Christina's going to be down for a while. So, but I definitely want to do a part 2 with Doof Doof.
Yes.
And if she
Absolutely.
gets, if you put her on your show, Susan,
Uh-huh.
you got to wait till after September. Because I want to be on it too. No, I'm just kidding. But it's been great. I've had a great time, and there's more to get into with you that I want to talk about. So we definitely are going to do a part 2. So I definitely would like to book you for sometime in October. I'll get, as soon as she's all healed and stuff, I'll get that going. But it's been great. It's been great.
Yeah,
And
It's been.
where
look,
can
it
people find you on social media besides YouTube?
I've got an Instagram. I don't know what it's called. Just put in Doof Doof. It comes up and there'll be a little gold star. I'm not very good with social media, but I am on the Instagram and the Facebook. I've got a group on Facebook. But if you go to my YouTube page, there's links to that on the, you know how it
Okay.
works on the YouTube.
If you,
There's
I
links to
think, I'm hoping I put them in, but if I didn't, I'll hit you up so you can send it to me. No, don't say that because I like to put everyone's links in, and then I put mine and Susan's below that. So that's how people are going to find you. I don't like when some of these podcasters do a podcast and they don't even put the links of their guest in, but they put their own links in.
Yeah.
If you're doing a podcast with somebody and they're your guest, it's about them, not about you. So
Yeah. It's all about me.
yeah, it's all about you. So it's been fun though, girl. It's been fun.
It has.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, thank you. And it has
So-
been fun.
Yeah, stick around. We're gonna end the show and then chit chat for a few minutes in the background.
Okay. Bye, everybody, and thank you. And I hope I never offended anybody. And be nice to each other, and try to think before you comment, and think, and be kind. Life's short.
Amen. Thanks, Karen. Bye, girl. You might not be leaving yet because I don't know what happened to our producer. So,
Oh.
Susan.
Yes.
We can do a dance.